What filmmaking tools do you use consistently with every video?
What filmmaking tools do I use with every video? I mean, I used to just use, I never used a tripod. I never used tripods. I was the gimbal guy. So I would use a camera and a gimbal for everything. And now I'm starting to revisit that. And now I'm using less of a gimbal and more doing classical composition. How can I hold the viewer's attention with what is important in the scene? And you don't need a gimbal for that. You can just rely on that actual composition of the shot. So I think, this is kind of a weird answer, but I think story is more of what I'm using instead of the flashy transitions or cinematography. It's more of how do I get back to just story? What do I need to tell them? As little as I have to tell them at that moment, so I can keep dangling that carrot and they can keep watching and try to figure it out. Those are the kinds of things that I'm into now. Is that what you asked? I don't know if that was, you asked me what kind of stuff do I bring on every shoot?
Tools, but
what tools?
Then you talked about story and how that's important. So sometimes
I think story trumps everything. I think you can have the fanciest camera, you can have the fanciest lens, you can have a real expensive light, you can have another expensive light. You can do all of this with the sun and a simple bounce and a camera and a tripod. And if your story is good and your audio is clean, I think clean audio is probably number 2, maybe number 1 actually. Those are the tools that you need. Yeah. I don't really feel like I'm good at story though. That's the weird thing. I feel like every episode is a challenge and it's a work in progress. Story is mercurial. It's constant. You can never get a grasp on it. The moment you think that you have figured it out, it becomes stale and you're no longer interested in it. So you have to figure out another way to do it. So for me, the whole channel, if you guys look at each episode, I try to do something a little bit different. I don't find 2 episodes are the same. I'll get good at something, I'll figure out the storytelling of the typical vlog. I'll try to mimic that as much as I can. And then at the end of it, if I feel all right, yeah, I got a handle on that, then I change it to something else and try to learn something new. So I don't know. I'm in a constant state of feeling like I'm not nailing story at all, but knowing the reverence and knowing how important it is to keep your audience engaged, but also to keep me engaged as a creator.
When you wanted to write, was it screenplays or novels?
Screenplays is what I started.
Who were some of your...
So reading all the Sid Fields and Blake Snyder books, Save the Cat and, Hero's Journey and all that stuff. So I think, I don't know, I think Mark, the Duplass brothers were an inspiration at the time. Also, Adam Sandler, Vince Vaughn, all those guys that seem to have a handle on just writing their own content and making it happen. Those were huge inspirations for me. I think that's probably where I got tripped up with trying to be the actor thing. I have to be an actor too, and then I can give my story and write my stories. And it seems like that's not actually true.
So you had no plans to stay in Arizona?
No.
Oh, I see.
No, I just went there for college. I went there to get away for a few years and then came back to Los Angeles and I got my first agent and then was fired from that agent and then got another agent. And I think that's the trick. I think once they fire you once, it messes with your brain. You're now I got an axe to grind. Now I got to figure this out. So yeah, and that was back when I was 23 at the time. And then I stopped. I completely gave up acting when I was 31, 32. So almost 10 years of just going after it, not getting anywhere.